right, at some point I think I showed this finger, I mean this feather here. And it's virtually the same as a turkey feather. Now, I'm going to show it to you in the microscope, because what you see here is the separations in between. They're little fibrous looking separations. Wait till I show you in the microscope. Hold on. We're going to be going up here. Let me get ready. Okay, you see that? That's a turkey feather. Here's what I'm looking at right now. With this microscope, I'm looking right there like that. You see it? That's what I'm looking at. And that's the thing running down the center, the big piece. Now, I believe what he's seeing here is the fibers that I showed you right here. These little bitty fibers. Now, that's a road back there, so these are not little tiny things. Now, I don't know if that's part of the giant East Coast feathered serpent or not, but it's a good sized feather, and I'm pretty sure it's a feather. And we can have these things tested now. This is not a mystery anymore. All right, let's look at, see what it looks like, the feathered part itself here. All right, let's look at it right here. You see this? This is what all tissue looks like. This is the feather itself. Wait, I'll show you the duck's head, or the goose head, or whatever it is. Let me put some light on this so we can see it. I'll back it out here. Okay, hold on. All right, you see the kind of the tissues that it is? You see it? They're almost all the same. It's this, the collagen, this red and black and white collagens and fibers mixed together. Now that's the feather serpent thing right here. All right, you see it? And this is the side of the feather. Totally different material. The surface of everything has a different material to it. Now watch this. This is what you're going to see as the heart, is the material that is in the stone mountain. It's this right here. All right, you see it? Red and black and white and like that. I forget the name of it. It's a big long name that they call it. Now, here's the surface of this. You see this? It's the same as all the rest. They all have the same surface. They call that feldspar. It's not feldspar. You see this? I showed this a zillion times. That's a duck's head, goose head, whatever it is. But those are the feathers, the pattern of the feathers in the head. This is, I mean, there's virtually no question. I've shown the neck very closely. You can see the neck and all this. Now, let's see what this is constructed of. It's the same stuff. It is the fabric of life. You see this? It's the same stuff. Same identical stuff. That's the feathers. That's the feathers right off the top of the feathers. You see it? This is the side of his head. You see, same stuff. Now, you go inside the neck, in the flesh, different stuff. You see it? That's why they say, oh, it's basalt, but the surface is always feldspar. Well, why is the surface feldspar and the inside is basalt? Well, inside is from red, bloody, fleshy things that have turned to stone. The outside is from this fibrous stuff. You see it? There's no question what it is. It's the fascia. When I first discovered this, I was going to call it fascia-facilitated fossilization. You know, let me push this down here because it's too hard to hold these things up in the air. All right, now, I'm going to be doing this. This is a giant toe. We'll be looking at that. Because that's the same stuff. When I show you this, the toe, and everything I have, every coating is coated with the same stuff like this fascia. Now, this is the same stuff, only this is pleura on a lung is more dense because the lung has to continuously do this all day long. Now, fascia on the other parts of your body is not quite so dense. Now, where do you see this stuff? Look up here. You see that? That's what this stuff is like. But it's the same stuff. It's all this fibers and these collagens and keragens and the reds and the blacks. Now, here's down in the bottom here. You probably can't see that, no light. But it's red, and it's the fleshy area down at the bottom. You see? That's where there's a big red flap at the bottom. All right, and then there's a little spot at the top. You see the top spot at the top right there? That's another investment area. Oops. Oosh. Run for your life. Same thing at the top. You see how bloody that is? You see the holes that go right down in there? There's blood vessels all over these things. Once you understand what you're looking at, it's just a piece of cake. And this bin's DNA certified as human. And that's the depression of the lung in the back. And here's a bone right here. Now, I showed you, that's a bone. Now, anybody that has any anatomical ability whatsoever fully would understand this. Look at the light. Let's go back. Well, we got to be able to get up there. All right, here's the deal. There's that bone. All right, there's the bone. Now, bone has periosteum on it, they call it, which is a fibrous wrapping. The ancients called it tunica, but it's also a fascia, and there it is. And guess what? Identical. Identical. You see the little black and red and white fibers? You see, it's the same stuff. Same stuff. Same stuff. Now, when you get into the marrow, though, which is down in here, that's inside, totally different. Well, actually, this is not a whole lot different, is it? Deep in the center of the marrow. Well, it's all organic. Let's just go with that. Depends on how it, and then down inside of here, where is the anchor for the ligament. You see that down in that hole, and all those little holes inside of the holes? That is the anchor right there. They would hold this bone to another bone like that, so they could move around but not separate. That's the anchor. This, I believe, is a bone foramen, and blood vessels would run down. You see the blood vessel way on the right side there? It runs down inside, and then there's nerves and things like that run through them. Here's another hole way up the top. I believe this. Yeah, you see those two little spots down the bottom, the one at the very bottom and the one just above it, the round spots? That's blood going in and coming out. One of them will be a vein, and that doesn't have, the arteries purge and they get holes in them. Veins don't, because they have plugs that, well, they're valves that it won't let your blood go backwards. Here's the top of the bone where it saddles into the other bone. See how structural that is? It's a big lot of work to be done looking at this stuff. But don't forget, I showed you the goose head. Same fabric. Same. It's all the same. And that's what is fascia. That's the separation of life. It is not feldspar. Okay, my friends, a great day at Mudfossil University. Mudfossil, all one word, University. And we have a couple new researchers in on the action today. Jim Mencken sent me this and said, what do you think? And he sent me a couple other pictures to go along with it. Now, we're going to look at this in close detail. But what I want you to look at is this fibrous material that runs down the center of this black material, which is sort of smooth, and you can see it's got little fibrous looking things running through it. Well, what does that mean? Well, let's find out. Okay, my friends, Roger once again, you know from where, and that is where, and I have been working with Tyson and people all around the world. Now it's really it's blossomed. Now, I got this from a fellow named Jim Mencken, and he's shown me these stripes, and he says, Roger, thanks for all you do. Took these pictures in northern Ontario, Canada. The lighter seam splits into 3 and travels deep into the water. The other pic shows dark sections covered by the pink granite. Wondering what you thought, what your thoughts are. Jim Mencken. I know exactly what it is, and we're going to look at it right now. It's muscle. And that is the fibers that run in the muscle. We're going to take a look deep. Okay, what you were looking at, that white stripe, is tendinous material. Now, this is this rock. It's been here sitting around for years. It's a little, by the way, I was staining my deck. That's why I have all this. I have nothing I can do about it. After I'm done, I'll clean it all up. Now, this fibrous material is the same fibrous material you just saw in that white stripe. Now, that is the strength part. This is the muscle part. And the same thing with the other thing. That was what's called feather muscle, something like that. I forget the name. But this is a different type of muscle. This is like your bicep or something. The other thing, I think, splays out like on your stomach or something like that. You see, this is more fascia. Fascia coats everything in your body, coats all your organs, all around your muscles. It separates everything from everything else. So your organs are coated with the fascia. It keeps all the things out of your liver that's not supposed to be in there, and your lungs, and your heart, and all that business. Now, so that's basically what we're seeing here. Now, the other same fibers, though, they're the same exact fibers, but they are in muscle, and that's just a different issue. Now let's look at the muscle. Now don't forget, that's that tendinous stuff that runs through, and these are all the little feather filaments that run off of it into the muscle tissue. Now, why is it not red? How come it's black? There's black and there's red. The black is used blood area, so this is a return area, and this is and blood turns black when it's exposed in a lot of cases, but primarily it's because it's Fe2O2 instead of Fe2O3. The O3 gives you the reddish tint. That's another issue, but anyway, this is the feather muscle. Now, this is basically similar to the muscle from Jim. This is, remember these little tiny white lines that running through it, and then the heavier line running through it, which is the big heavy fiber. That's it. I believe they call them feathered muscles. All right, here's another shot from Jim. This is that muscle, the black part of the muscle. You see this right here, that break? That's what's called a sarcomere. Between here and there, that's a sarcomere. I'll show you those. Now, and what happens is this is the part that pinches, and this is all the little different striations. Now remember, I always talk about lichen growing. I say lichen likes the vein blood, the black blood. Now moss, the fluffy looking moss, likes the red blood. It's two different things, but when you see lichen, you're pretty sure that was some black vein blood area.